Joined now by Sean Spicer. He's Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Sean, nice to see you.
Good to see you, Kate.
Let's start with this issue from over the weekend of Donald Trump and the Russian hacking question. Earlier today, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that he agrees with a bipartisan group of senators, including John McCain, Lindsey Graham, that there should be an investigation into this idea that Russia interfered in the election. I want to play a little more of what Senator McConnell said.
It defies belief that somehow Republicans in the Senate are reluctant to either review Russian tactics or ignore them. So last, let me say that I have the highest confidence in the intelligence community and especially the Central Intelligence Agencies. The CIA is filled with selfless patriots, many of whom anonymously risk their lives for the American people.
Sean, do you agree with Mitch McConnell? Should there be a bipartisan investigation?
Well, sure. I mean, I don't think there's a problem with looking into it. Obviously, we want to ensure the highest level of integrity of our voting system, but I think we got to look at a few facts. Number one, and Kristen touched on this a little in her reporting, but there is no evidence whatsoever that anything ever had any impact on the election. Donald Trump won resoundingly with 306 electoral votes, and some of this sort of is, you know, Democrats trying to still have yet to get over the election. They lost big, and I think they need to get over it.
And
I think a lot of folks
don't fill the CIA. Forgive me, but the CIA report was not written by Democrats.
No, but I think that a lot of the Democrats who are pushing this are clearly bitter that they lost an election that they thought that they were going to win, and Donald Trump hit a nerve with the American people and was able to speak to the voice of the American people and win resoundingly in a way that all of you folks in the media didn't give him a shot at winning. They talked about how Hillary Clinton was going to win big, and now I think there's a lot of trying to figure out, well, maybe there's outside influence that we can start pointing to, but the fact of the matter is I'm not sure what step everyone is in their 12-step program, but it's time that we realize that Donald Trump won this election big time, and we're going to move on and implement real change in Washington in January.
Sean, with all due respect, senators who've come out, you just heard Mitch McConnell, John McCain, Lindsey Graham, those are Republican senators saying that this needs to be investigated on behalf of the American people. They're concerned that this CIA report, which we at NBC News have confirmed exists, that there was hacking done by Russian actors, and they say that with a high degree of confidence.
Right, there's a difference between them attempting to hack something and having a discernible attempt at, or excuse me, and the ability to change the outcome. There's no question that change the outcome, and I think there's a lot of people sort of mixing words here. The fact of the matter is that many countries try to to gain intelligence on other countries, so that's one thing. But the question is, did they have an impact on the election? And I think that it would be nice for folks in the media and folks on the left to finally admit that they lost and they were wrong. And that's where I think there's a big difference here.
Even if they didn't have an impact on the election, you're not saying you're okay with Russians hacking the system?
No one's hacking. No. But this is the point, Kate, and I've said it over. Donald Trump said it. Reince Priebus has said it, that no one should be interfering with the integrity of a U.S. election. The only people who should be voting are eligible U.S. voters. That's it, full stop. And then I think that, but what's happened is there's sort of this conflating of the two issues. One is, did someone try to do something and should it be stopped? We all agree that that shouldn't happen. But the second is this attempt to delegitimize the outcome of the election, which is what a lot of folks in the media have tried to conflate. And there is no evidence whatsoever that occurred. And I think that we need to be very clear in how we describe what's going on.
It was Donald Trump himself, though, yesterday, speaking on Fox News Sunday, who said that he found this report from the CIA, which senators were briefed on last week, he found the conclusion ridiculous. He questioned whether Russians were truly involved in the hacking. I guess I'm just trying to be clear here on what the issue is. People are responding to that, to him saying
what
that it was ridiculous.
What they're responding to, Kate, and this is where I find it funny that when folks on the right make an argument, the first thing they do is everyone in the media runs and says, show us your sources, prove that this happened. So we have a bunch of unnamed sources coming out of unnamed three-letter agencies, and somehow we're supposed to take that as gospel truth. Let's look at the fact that New York Times reported that all of this evidence and all of the conclusions were predicated on the fact that the RNC was hacked. We are now seeing continued reports by CNN, ABC, and some others that are showing, in fact, that the New York Times was dead wrong. That wasn't true. And so if the argument was by the New York Times that the intelligence agencies concluded that the outcome was such, based on the fact that the RNC was hacked, and hacked, then that does call into question the entire the intelligence and the conclusions they came to.
Are you saying that you don't trust the CIA?
No, stop doing that.
I'm just asking
That's
a
not
question.
what I said.
Are you saying that you don't trust the because just a moment ago, just a moment ago you said three-letter agencies with unnamed sources. That's why I'm asking. Do you not trust?
No. Tell me someone in the CIA, give me a name, publish a report, and we'll deal with it. Right now, you guys start saying that you read these reports. You don't have no names behind them. There's nothing.
Let me be very clear.
You have the October 17th report.
Our sources have seen it, and our sources at NBC News have confirmed that the conclusion was drawn that Russians were responsible for the hacking with a high degree of confidence.
Okay, the same sources and the same people
and I'm
who
asking,
said
do you not believe that?
I'm just trying to get to the,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying the same people who Friday night, when we were presented it by several news organizations, said that the same people were concluding that all of their conclusions were based on the fact that in part the RNC was hacked. They've now walked that back in the course of the last 48 hours. So my point to you is that the facts that we were initially presented to were clearly not accurate. And so it does call into question, and I find it interesting that you guys aren't asking them to provide further proof of this when we've already undermined part of the premise.
We're asking for, we'd love to see the report.
No, you're not. You're asking me, and you're questioning my
belief.
You don't know
that we're not asking that. Of course we are. We're trying to report this out in Washington. I have numerous colleagues. I've been on email all morning with colleagues who are reporting it out. We're doing our best, Sean. I agree with you. We'd love to have more information.
Look, with all due respect, the best is not then that good, because so far we've seen major organizations walk back stories that were false. So I do think that we've had some concerns about the integrity of the intelligence reporting by sources. I'm not questioning the CIA. I'm not questioning any other three-letter agency. What I'm questioning is some of the sources you guys are using. That's what I'm questioning.
Are you worried about the atmosphere that's being created? I talked to a former CIA person this morning, an official at the CIA, who said that there is shock and disbelief, those were his words, over what Donald Trump has done in coming out in the public and saying, I don't trust this. That there's a rift now between the Trump incoming administration and career intelligence officials. Does that concern you?
No, I think that you guys can go out and you cherry pick one or two of the same sources that provided the faulty stories in the first places, and of course they're going to be concerned because they didn't have their stories swallowed with whole cloth. I mean, the reality is that I'm sure you can go out in any scenario and cherry pick a bunch of people in organizations that consist of thousands of people. But the fact of the matter is that we are the ones who proved that those initial stories were wrong. And instead of going back and then questioning the sources that you guys have used that are false, it would be interesting for once to admit that we were right in this scenario.
Let me go to a different subject. President-elect Trump expected to give a press conference on Thursday. It'll be his first in a while, and expected to lay out what exactly he's doing in terms of his business. Can you give us any kind of preview of what we're going to learn about on Thursday in terms of the running of his corporation?
Well, here's what I can tell you. Donald Trump has built one of the most successful worldwide businesses that consists of, hundreds of iconic landmarks and properties. It's a very, very complex process that he has built up over the last several decades, and I think that he is continuing to go through with his lawyers, with his accountants, with the rest of his family that are involved in this business, and ensure that a system is created when he becomes President of the United States. And while not required by law, he wants to ensure that the focus that he lays out is 100% about the American worker, about American families, about American businesses. He's going to do everything he can to ensure that he walls off his business and creates a system whereby the business is run by his family and his entire focus is on helping move this country forward.
Sean Spicer with the RNC, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate it.
You bet, Kate.